Good morning, everyone. It is Kandice Porter checking in again with another episode of Unapologetic Black Woman. You guys, I have been having such an amazing time coming together with Black women and just celebrating their excellence. And today we are not putting on no breaks. We are continuing forward. And today is a very special day. I have Ebony McGowen here, who is the CEO, the founder for Culture for Design. And I am going to get out of her way and let her introduce herself. Ebony, let us know who you are.
All right. I get asked this question, what's your background? Who are you? And I honestly have to write it down because I don't
Yes.
remember everything. But yeah, so I'm Ebony McGowen. I'm based in right outside of Houston, Texas. Um, I am launching my baby, my first business today, which is Culture for Design. We partner with small and mid-sized businesses to help them create environments where employees want to work. So we're fully focused on the work environment and culture. I have 21 years, over 21 years actually, of HR management experience, most recently being a senior vice president and chief HR officer for one of Houston's larger financial institutions. I'm a proud Colorado State Ram with an educational background in psychology and a focus in ethnic studies. I'm also a graduate of the executive management program from Texas Christian University. I've served on a tri-state executive HR committee as a chair and other officer roles for the past 9 years. I've chaired local roundtables on employee topics for the past several years. And most recently, I've served on an exclusive by invite only diversity, equity, and inclusion think tank with 40 other CEOs and executives across the nation. Among all this, I'm most proudful of earning my diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioner certification from the National Diversity Council a couple years ago, as well as mentoring up and coming HR professionals and creating culture shifting programs. So
Wow.
that's me in a nutshell.
Ebony, wow, 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 wow. Girl, you got it going on. Do you hear
Thank
me?
you.
You really do. And I love to hear all that you've accomplished. Congratulations on all your accomplishments. As Ebony said, y'all, it is launch day. We are saying
Yes.
happy launch day for Culture for Design. Girl, the baby was ready. You pushed, and now look at where you're at. You are here. You are here. What can you say about launch day? How are you feeling? Tell us all the things.
I'm excited. I'm excited for so many reasons.
Mhm.
I was a little nervous. I think anyone starting a new business, particularly one that usually doesn't take huge risks, because this is a
Mhm.
huge risk, right? I've been
Yes.
working for someone for, well, I don't want to age myself, but I'll be 40 soon. So for a very
Girl,
long
we're
time,
right in the same
since I
boat.
was 50. Um, and I've had the opportunity to be able to do this a long time ago. I've been encouraged from so many people to, you should go out on your own. You're amazing. And some interesting things happened last year. And God said it's definitely time.
Yes.
And I'll get into that kind of later, how that happened. But
Yes.
I'm very excited. I definitely think it's time. Yeah. But yeah, I feel all the things, but I'm very much happy to be able to help many people, many businesses, and just really shift work. Because I think a lot of what we're hearing and just people have experienced is unhappy work environments, and I
Yeah.
just think it's unacceptable. So
Yeah.
I'm just excited about what we'll be able to offer.
I love that. Well, again, like I said before, and I'll say it over and over again, happy launch day. A lot of us do not get to this point because we let certain things get in the way of allowing us to successfully move forward in our businesses and our business ideas. But I want to just celebrate the woman that you are today that said, hey, listen, God, you called me to this thing, and I'm not going to stop until this baby is birthed. And now today it is launch day. So I want to just give you your flowers. truly, and let you know that what you are doing and what Culture for Design is doing, it's needed. I know that when I was in corporate America, there were some very unfavorable work environments. So I'm glad that God put it on your heart to say, change the dynamic, and you did. So congratulations, Ebony. Please, please, please keep going, and I cannot wait to see the impact that Culture for Design is going to make. So
Thank you.
congratulations to you again. We give you a round and a round of applause today, okay?
Thank you.
So, absolutely. So before we get into it, we like to do a little bit of an icebreaker. And I
Uh-huh.
know that you did say that you are a 90s R&B. Listen, I'm aging myself, okay? Because you're about to be 40 soon. And I'm like, girl, when I tell you 40 is right around the corner for me, I'm like this. Dang, it is about to happen. And so,
Exactly.
but I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to play a little game. We have played it a little bit a couple of times before, but I'm gonna roll the dice, and
Okay.
I'm going to, whatever it lands on, that is the question that you're gonna answer. So feel free to take a sip of your water, girlfriend, and we just want to learn a little bit more about you. So here we go. We have the dice breaker, and I have my die, and I'm gonna go ahead and roll it. Ooh, okay, run six. So six is,
Okay.
what is something that you are grateful for that wouldn't have happened had it not been for the pandemic?
Oh, I can tell you.
Woo!
Yeah, a lot of things, but the number one thing is more time with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, your baby girl is
Yes. Soon to be
5 years old.
6.
She'll be 6.
Yeah.
I love that. So you time with your baby girl was invaluable. You guys had a good time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So the day that the pandemic was declared was the first day I physically left working in an office and began working remote. And I
Mm.
actually haven't even returned since to that
Yeah.
type of environment. So because of that, and at the time, my daughter wasn't in school yet, so it allowed me to be able to spend more time with her,
Yes.
which is, oh my God, I'm
Yes.
so grateful for that.
Yes. And is that your only baby?
Yeah, just her, and she will be
Oh,
the only.
yes. Listen, we ain't even gonna get into that. So absolutely. Okay. So more time with your baby girl. I love
Yeah,
that. Okay. So we have two more roles. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Two, if you could have one wish granted, what
Hmm.
would it be and why?
I know the answer to this.
Yes.
God, I'm just trying to think. What do I want? I'm just gonna say it. Um, so I had a transplant several years ago.
Yes.
And so my wish, and unfortunately didn't necessarily work out extremely well.
Okay.
My wish would be to have another successful transplant.
Mm. Okay.
It,
Look, if you don't mind, I want to get into that a little later.
sure.
Um, yeah, so that we can talk about it a little bit. Okay, last one. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. One. What is the most embarrassing
Ooh.
fashion trend that you used to rock? Listen, we're 80s babies, so go ahead and give it to me.
Uh, I'm probably. Do you remember those pants, the stirrups? Like they
Uh-huh.
were leggings, but with the strap under the foot.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna have to say that. But you know what? They're actually making a comeback,
That's what I was about to say.
which I might feel different now.
That's
Just
what I
feel
was about to say. Would you put those stirrups on with a cute heel? I think we'd be all right.
yeah. But
Yes.
back then, I did not like that.
I you were like, that was not my thing.
It just wasn't my thing.
I absolutely look, I can understand because back then we wasn't probably doing it how we were supposed to do. But I think that if we did it as grown women, I think it'll be all right. I
Probably
do.
so. We can style it up better.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be all right. So thank you for letting us know a little bit more about you. To the chat, I just want to say that it's open, and James Holland Jr. said that he is here in the building. Hello, Mr. Holland. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys, the comment section is open. I want you to know that. If you have any questions for Ebony, we're gonna let you know all about what's going on and how you can contact her for services and all that a little later on. Margarita Holland is in the building. She says, hello. Ebony, are these your people?
Yeah, yeah, my brother and my sister-in-law.
Okay, I was like, because the Hollands are in the what house? And I appreciate that, okay? Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are going to get all the way into it. So, Ebony,
Mhm.
can you tell me a little bit about your birthing process with Culture for Design?
Yeah, definitely. So, like I mentioned, I've used to work at a fairly large finance institution, but I worked in a variety of industries over the last 20 plus years. And I've worked even in those organizations, have helped partnered with other companies and that sort of thing. And one of the things, I think probably the biggest things from the questions I've been asked, help me with this, help me with that, it all boiled down to the work environment. It really did. I mean, even things as simple as, I-9 audits, those types of things, or employee investigations, a lot of it boiled down to the environment.
Mm,
And throughout my journey, and just even some personal experiences as well, I'm a strong believer that if the company does not intentionally recognize the importance and the value of their employees, regardless of who their customer, their client is, that company cannot reach its maximum successful potential. I'm a firm believer in that. There
yeah,
has to be a space carved within the DNA of the organization, within their business plan, within their strategy, and not even just for that time being, where they have programs and focus on the experience and the environment for the employees.
yes,
And so, because of that, I feel very strongly that there's things that employers could be doing to really make the environment a place that employees want to be in.
yes,
As a full-time employer, you're spending majority of your time, even if you're part-time, you're spending a significant amount of time in one place,
hmm,
and you deserve to be happy. And
yes,
I mean, I've heard stories even from family members, friends. They come home. I think we've all experienced this, and we just feel drained.
yes,
You have those days you're like, oh, I don't. Do I want to go in? Do I need this check?
yeah,
Um, and I get sometimes you might feel that way. But to feel like that regularly, that's a problem. And I think employers should care about that and
mhm,
make a concerted effort to change that. And so um, for me, it's something, I've thought about. I have obviously a lot of educational background and experience. I know what I'm doing, so it's not a concern
mhm,
of that. But to give you a little bit of history, about 8 years ago, I started on this journey. I said, I'm going to go ahead and do it. As I mentioned, I'm really not a big risk taker. I enjoyed paycheck every 2 weeks. And I don't know if my employer just realized, oh, she's leaving. And I don't know. But I got a lot of promotions over my years. And at that time, that was a pretty significant promotion I was given. I said, oh, this is a sign. I'm supposed to stay here. So I continued on. And then the pandemic hit. A lot of different things have happened in my life, transplant being, one of them. And I honestly look at life very differently, and probably to a degree that unless you've had a transplant, unless you've been in that situation or a near death situation, is probably the closest I can kind of give as an example. You don't understand how important it is to live your life authentically, how you want to live your life, and to make a choice to be happy. And so, pandemic hits, we're still hearing stories of the magnitude of people dying, losing their lives, not being prejudiced in any way of how people are leaving this earth, young, old, healthy, unhealthy, doesn't matter. And it just kind of caused me to think, you know what? I think it's time. And so I prayed about it as I do everything in any major decision in my life, or really any decision.
Yes.
And God said, it's time. But I questioned it. Oh, no, I'm in the middle of this really amazing project. Some great things are happening. And I will just tell you that a day came where he completely shut me down, where it was like, and let me tell you, I think a week before that, I prayed.
Mm.
And I told God, because my conversations are very real, and I said, you're going
Hello.
to be very clear with me so I know, because I'm
Yes.
going to keep doing this. And I'm just going to keep going for you know, I'm going to be at retirement. And I think God said, okay, give me 7 days.
Mm.
7 days after that, he stopped me 100% in my tracks.
Mm.
And when I got through that experience, the first thing I knew was, it's time.
Wow.
And I'm serious about life.
Yes.
And it was that was it. I was that was when I didn't know the name yet,
Yes.
but that was when I guess you get the pregnancy test. I
Hello.
knew this was happening, right?
Yes.
And from that moment forward, preparation, and so it's interesting. So that was August,
Yes.
and so I said, okay, I'm going to do this. You know, I started telling people closest to me this is going to happen. And then in December, I was like, I don't know. You know what? No, maybe I should just try, maybe I'll try a different industry. And I prayed again.
Yes.
Later that day, and you don't even know this, later that day is, I don't think I told you this at least. Anyway, is when you posted about the 20-day challenge, the 22-day challenge, I think it was.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, it was 20 days to 22. Yes.
And my prayer was, I need to know if this really is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I would really love if there was like a resource that was a strong believer in God, but can help me
Mm.
with the business. Like, this is crazy, but something like that. Like, oh, that's right. I just need a mentor that believes in God. That's what my prayer was. And then you posted about the challenge. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Get
Oh my
out.
God. And that's when I literally was like, there's no turning back.
Oh my.
This was the clearest day sign. I am supposed to do this. Period. And that was it.
Ebony, no way.
Mhm.
Do you know what? Just in case anyone's like, well, what are you guys talking about? So I let's see, as I was in the process of shutting down my business, that's funny that we were kind of going through the same thing at the same time, right? Because I was in the process of saying, I don't know. I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but God, I need some real clear signs. Like, look at what was Gideon saying? God, if this is really you and if this is what you want me to do, then I need to really see some really tangible things that are real to me. And
Yeah.
so to hear that the time that I was posting about the 20-day challenge is the time that you were asking God to show you what it is that you were supposed to do and that you needed something real tangible to really prove that. It is so crazy how, listen, the spirit and the natural, it works hand in hand, and that
Yep.
he gave you what you wanted at that time, because you did send me a message, Ebony, saying, Kandice, um I was just praying about this. I think you didn't go into detail, but that was the minimum. You said, I was just praying about this, thank you for doing this. And so thank you for sharing that with me, because sometimes you hope that someone's getting it.
Mhm.
And to have you share that story with me, thank you, Ebony.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing God using you. Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely. So it sounds like you got your confirmation, you got your word, and you acted on it. And I think that's a huge part of it, is that sometimes in life you get the word, but you don't move on it because you're still stuck in fear or whatever the things. And
Yeah.
so what was it? Because you did say that you were going through some health issues, and so how are you feeling today? And how were you able to navigate through those health issues?
Yeah. Um, Today I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Good.
uh, I navigate through everything with God.
Yes.
I really do. So it's just kind of a part of it's my world. It's I've accepted it, and it's a lot better. It could always be worse. There's always someone else
Yeah.
that's going through something that's far greater.
Yes.
So I'm just grateful to be able to be well enough to be able to start a business and take care of all
Yes.
my responsibilities.
Yes.
And for that alone is good for me. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
definitely been a journey. That's a whole nother probably hour conversation, but yeah.
Yes. Yes, but the fact that you're able to navigate through that and still come out on the other side having birthed your business just it just really just takes my level of respect up for you to know that it wasn't like just this journey where you were just trying to overcome just the obstacles of starting entrepreneurship in the first place, but that you were physically overcoming obstacles inside of your body
Mhm.
to help move that along. How was your time with God during that season? How were you making sure that you're like, God, listen, I need you to do all the things right now. How was that season for you?
Yeah, I would say probably from the various things I've experienced in life, it's probably one of the closest.
Mhm.
Um, because sometimes we experience things and you're going through it at that moment, but that particular experience changed who I am
Mm.
completely. It was almost like I looked at my life and I was like, I need a clean slate, and whatever isn't serving a positive experience for me or positive energy, I don't deal with. It's very simple, and it
Very.
doesn't matter what your title is to me or none of that matters, because life is important, and what I had to go through to be here today, people don't have to go through.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
I choose to be happy in every area of my life.
Mm.
And so it was a process because I felt like he was showing me that, and it was so intense. I remember I was like, I need to make like an emergency trip somewhere,
Mhm.
and I went to Colorado, and
Mhm.
um, my best friend lives out there,
Okay.
and so that was part of it.
Yeah.
But also, I just felt like something. I felt something was happening. I didn't know what it was,
Yeah.
so I had just went through something pretty traumatic
Mhm.
and like, okay, what just happened? And nothing with work. It was really more of like health stuff.
Yeah.
And then I just felt like I needed to be in a different environment, like pretty quickly. Did
Yeah.
that, and through that, I learned. It only took a couple of days, and I learned like, oh wow, okay,
Wow.
let me just make an inventory of everything in my world and what is going to change. And when I
Mm.
decided it's going to change immediately, and it did. I mean, it did. I'll give it 2 weeks, and just anything I felt that wasn't serving positive energy that made my life happy was removed. And that is how I move through life.
Mm.
Going forward with everything.
Mm.
Yeah. And you know what? I was just having a conversation with someone about this the other day. I am probably the happiest I've ever been. Like my world is amazing. It really is. Because
Mm.
I don't, I think it's just how I approach things now.
Yes.
So yeah, I encourage everyone to do it. If it doesn't serve you positive energy, if it's not blessed by God, listen to him. If you don't know, ask him. He's always answered every single prayer I've ever had. Ever. You'll know. You have to be willing to listen and receive the information or what he's communicating, but remove it. We
Yes.
don't live on this earth. He gave us this beautiful earth, not
Mm.
to be unhappy or
Yeah.
interacting with people that are just negative or
Yes.
whatever the case is, whatever it is.
Yes. Oh, Ebony, that's so good. And you're speaking my language. I am right in the middle of finishing Tabitha Brown's book.
Oh, okay.
I know this is ridiculous. This is actually my bookmark. Isn't that crazy?
Do what you gotta
Like,
do.
girl, put some of that paper back. But the one thing that spoke to me the most last night is she spoke about what um getting rid of what's no longer serving you. And so it was so good because I'm trying to see if I can find it, but I don't know if I can. Um but anyway, just talking about if it's not serving you, if it is not serving you, then it's okay to say, you want to know what? I'm good. And I like the way that you said, I don't care what title comes with it. I don't care. And I understand that there are things that we have to do, right? That, you know, that it doesn't necessarily serve us, but we kind of got to walk through that space anyway. But I'm talking about when I have a choice. If I'm like, listen, I know that this is making me miserable, I am going to decide to not really partake in that side of whatever is going on because it's not serving me. And I think people don't do that enough because they feel like they have to. Uh, I'll use myself as an example. When I was in the process of closing down Bonding to the Beat, it wasn't serving me all of 2021, Ebony. Like, at all. It was not serving me, like literally not making any money. And it was just sucking the life out of me. But I was like, oh man, well, what happens? What are the people gonna think? And it's my baby, and it's this and it's that. But it wasn't serving me. And so
Right.
I had to sit with that, Ebony. I had to take my own inventory. I had to and say, Candace, are you going to keep on doing this, or are you going to move on to something that is serving you? And now I'm able to not only serve myself, but now I'm also able to serve others in the process. So
Yeah.
when I tell you I hear you, I hear you.
And you deserve that, As people, we deserve to pour into ourselves because as we
Yes,
pour into ourselves, then we're able to pour into other people. So,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Listen, I just want to say the Hollands are on the comment section. James Holland Jr. said, yeah, that's my sister talking, people. Keyword is care. And I agree with you. And Margarita said the same thing. You are amazing, Ebony. You are a testament to many. God is good. And I
Thank
absolutely
you.
agree. You are a testament to many. And we're just grateful that you are
Thank you.
sharing your story. So if you can get into it sounds like you are solutions driven. And I
Yes.
love solution driven. I want to know how you're able to incorporate that into your business, but not only into your business, but just into your life. Because when folks ain't operating from a solution driven situation, it turns into some interesting conversation. So I want to know how you operate in that space of being solution driven.
Right. So I'm kind of a big picture type person. I
Mhm.
like to look, okay, what's our end game? What's our goal here? And
Yeah,
then kind of work backwards. And
yeah.
for me, my process is I ask a lot of questions.
Hmm.
Okay. You might come in and because the things you'll find that sometimes people think they know what the problem is,
Hmm.
but just through conversation, you realize that might be a problem, but
Yeah,
that's not the problem. Let's get to
yes,
the bottom line. Let's get down sometimes to the foundation
yeah.
and let's figure out, what do we need to do? So, I'll kind of give you a very common problem that a lot of employers are facing, and this is a nationwide shortage of staff.
Mm.
And, let's drill it down to education, teachers.
Ooh,
Um, I think we know, especially parents, moms, we know how important our educators are to our children.
yes.
And the fact that there's such a shortage, right? We've been hearing they're not paid well at all. for what
Mm-mm.
they have to endure,
Mm-hmm.
what they're responsible for and expected to do.
Yeah.
It's the work environment, though, right? And so to me, you could say, okay, the problem is I can't hire enough teachers. Help me hire teachers. Okay, well, I can help you recruit. That's not
Yes.
a problem at all. Anybody can do that. We can post a
Mhm.
job description, ask some questions, do a background, all the tactical stuff, right? But I
Yes.
think the question is, well, what's your turnover rate? What has that been? Okay. What are the reasons people are leaving? What are they telling you? When's the
Yes.
last time you've done any sort of, culture assessment, employee satisfaction, engagement? What does that look like? What's the flow or the perception of the employee versus management or leadership or administration in an educational environment?
Mm.
And why is that?
Mm.
What are the benefits? What is it like working for you?
Mm.
Oh, well, we give raises and we, offer benefits. Okay, that's an expectation.
Yes.
It's interesting, side note, a lot of employers think that that is something that employees should be happy about. No disrespect, it's not the 60s or the 50s. It's
Yeah.
not something we should be happy about. It's something that should be given. What are you doing on top of that? What are you doing to make it where, in this example, the teacher comes to school and they're happy about being there?
Mm.
And so, what if they're happy about being there and they are pumped and energized about the curriculum and they're truly invested in the employee? They're not waiting for 4 o'clock or 4:30 to leave.
Mm.
What would a world look like if all we did is we made sure that the work environment was a place they wanted to be in?
Mm.
What's the possibilities? What could come out of that?
Mm.
And so that's kind of a little bit of the algorithm that I use. And that works. The nice thing about people management is it works anywhere. It really does not matter the industry. It does not matter.
Yes.
Um, that matters when it comes down to audit and compliance and those types of things, because there's certain things you have to make sure of. But in terms of people, no, it doesn't matter. If you create that space where they appreciate being there, they are more creative,
Mm.
loyal, focused, dedicated, and that can make wonders, for a company.
Yes. Yes.
But again, to get there, there has to be a focus. It has to be a part of the business. You
Yes.
cannot sit down and do your strategic planning and say, everything we're doing is solely for our customers or our members or our clients or our investors. Where's the piece about the employees?
Mm.
They're the ones doing the work.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Ebony, that's so good.
and to
Yeah.
me, I'm like, this is simple, but I've 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 been at that table, an
Yes.
executive.
Yes.
Not everybody thinks that way.
They don't. Being when I had a team of about 8, and that was right at the beginning of the pandemic, right? So, to carry a team of 8 and go through something so foreign and something that we didn't really know about. I'm so grateful that I had a relationship with God at that point. Um, Not at that point, but just in general. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for my relationship with God because sometimes when tragedy and just an uncommon and unfamiliar situation happens, sometimes they need anybody to lean on. And I was that person. I was that person where they were like, oh my God, Candice, like, what is it that you think about this? Do you think that we're going to lose our jobs? Do you think we're going to do this? We're going to do that? And to sit there and be like, no, no, like I think everything's going to be okay with uncertainty, right? I didn't know. And
Mhm.
eventually everything did end up phasing out. But I knew that I had to, in that particular instance, I had to put myself back. I had to put myself to the back burner and really see how I can serve my employees at that time because they are like without without them, I wouldn't have had my biggest year in business. I wouldn't have seen my 6-figure year in business. I wouldn't have seen it because I needed them to do that. And
Right.
so I wanted to let them know, y'all, you guys are important to me, and I value who you are. I was just always that type of I don't know. I don't like to say, but I was always that type of CEO. Like that is who I was. And I also read something that says, in order for your employees to feel important, like you've got to dish out compliments like more times than not. And I see that. Like I see that just saying, man, you want to know what? Thank you. You're doing a great job. That goes a long way, not
Right.
only in the workforce, but also just in regular relationship with people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's important. People need to know that you care. And I think a big thing about it, which I'm sure you were probably spot on, is being genuine.
Yes.
Um, Knowing that, it's not a, well, I have to make sure I say this and that to the employees. No, being genuine.
Yes.
Um, and understanding that they might not be in the same shoes as the CEO,
Yeah.
obviously, but understanding their world to an
Yeah.
extent that the decision that you make probably are going to affect them, and being as real and as honest as you can. Sometimes companies take the approach where they really try to separate upper management from staff, and we have to be
Yeah.
careful what we say, and everything is
Mhm.
very scripted. But that's not genuine. You
Yeah.
have to have a balance and know when it's okay to kind of put that title on the table and
Yes.
just be human.
That's it.
Um, just be human. People,
Yes.
especially with the pandemic. I mean, gosh,
Oh.
so many people, and even today, are so worried about what's going to happen next.
Yes.
The
Yes.
amount of people that have stepped out of the workforce because of either catching COVID,
Mhm.
being afraid of catching COVID,
Yes.
childcare issues,
Oh.
the list goes on and on.
Yes.
Business closed because they just couldn't sustain.
Yeah.
And to not try to form a connection, that's
There's no
insane
way.
to me. It's
Yeah.
it's yeah.
There's no way. Yes, and it really just took another side of me. I'm a pretty genuine and caring person anyway, but like I said, when you're dealing with unfamiliar situations and you don't have the answers. I didn't have the answers, and I was encouraging them. Yeah, it's going to be okay. And in reality, like look what happened. It wasn't necessarily okay, but I just wanted to let them know that my faith was working for me at that time. That I did have the faith to say, you want to know what? It may be uncertain right now, but I believe that we're going to get out of this okay. And so even though I'm sorry, my computer is like shaking. Um even though
I was like, isn't that one crazy?
I
No,
know,
that's fine.
girl, it's a whole situation.
You're fine.
Even though like I said, it didn't necessarily turn out the way that we would think it would turn out. I still think that God still did exactly what he does, and he specializes in the impossible. So it may not have looked the way that I thought it would have looked, but it's still okay because
Yeah,
what's happening now in life as a result of that is putting me on the path that says, you want to know what? I see what's happening here, and I see
right.
what you were doing all along. So I'm good with it. So it does end up okay.
Yeah, well, God makes no mistakes.
Mhm.
Even the ones that seem to be painful, He
Yeah.
doesn't make a mistake. A lot of the things that we experience is to prepare us for what's next. You just
Yes.
have to ask to make sure that you're on His path and not your own path. Because
Yes.
that's when things get kind of confusing because you probably might be on the wrong path. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, I think, in your case, God probably, He created Bung to the Beat for you to prepare you for your next business
Yes.
and whatever challenges comes with that because it's just a part of the territory.
Yes.
Because the reality is when you are a business owner, when you have staff, everyone's going to come to a point, more than likely, where they're going to have to let someone go, whether it's because the company needs to be dissolved or that person's not working out or whatever it is. And you have to experience that. As
Yes.
not great as it is
Yeah,
a part of the process. But
absolutely.
it's more importantly, God is solution driven, and it's a part of His bigger plan.
Yes,
There's
Ebony,
always
you're
positive in the end.
yes, yes, I absolutely agree. That being solution driven is it puts me in the mindset of when like say for instance you're in a little bit of a situation with someone. A lot of the times I feel like people are not solutions driven. They just kind of want to dance around the problem a lot.
Yeah,
And for me, I'm okay with acknowledging what was wrong. Like I'm okay with saying, all right, that something happened there. But the part that I'm not okay with is staying in that place and just being like, well, you did this and you did that. Well, you said this and you said that. No, tell me, all right, you did this, you did that, I did this, I did that. But tell me, what are we going to do now? Like, how are we going to be solutions driven in this? And that's what I'm realizing right now with even my kids, like my 17-year-old. um they are not solution driven. They want to dance around the issue, and I'm like, no, okay, all right, I just need you to clean your room. We don't even have to like argue about this. And so I'm
right,
really really learning that in that's where it stemmed from in my uh being a CEO and having a staff. I had to learn how to solely be solution driven because I'm going to hear you out, absolutely. And now it's just made its way right into my own like personal relationships. Yes, let's talk about what's wrong, let's talk
yeah,
about the issue, but now let's talk about how we're going to get over that hump.
right, right.
Yep.
So, typically, so first of all, being solution driven, I believe, is a mind frame that
Yes.
people really just don't naturally have.
Yes.
Usually, it's almost something that has to be taught. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, we get stuck in
Mm-hmm.
a place, just like you said, where
Mm-hmm.
we don't know how to get past problem. Like we just know, okay, problem. And so I just want to
Yes.
make it clear there's a problem. I'm gonna give you all the
Yes.
reasons why I think there's a problem. You know,
Yes.
and so sometimes knowing how to handle the conflict,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really what it is. It's managing a conflict and getting to a solution, and
Yeah.
where do we go from here? So there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple different scenarios though, or things to consider. Sometimes people are unable or unwilling to get to solutions because they want to stay in that space. That's when you have to know when it's time to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm going to leave you here because I'm going to be over here in the solution
Yes.
area. And when you're ready, this is where you can find me. And if you don't
Yes.
become ready, then we part ways or we don't talk about this anymore or whatever
Yeah.
that needs to look like.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes people just have to be urged and told or nudged and told, we are not getting anywhere. It's just like the meeting that goes on and on and on. You're like, are we done? Let's wrap this up.
Yes.
It's past
Yes.
time,
Yes.
and sometimes it just takes those people, and sometimes they're the leaders. Oftentimes they're the leaders to say,
Mhm.
it's time that we move forward. We've
Yes.
allocated enough time in this space. Let's
Yeah.
move forward.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a kind of a personal scenario going back to
Yes.
children, because I
Yes.
believe children are not solution. They are very much about what's going on at that moment. I'm
Absolutely.
explicit about this, but so last night I needed my daughter to go to sleep. Her normal bedtime
Mhm.
is about 8 o'clock. For whatever reason, she was live at 5 at 10 o'clock. She was ready to have a whole other meal and all these types of,
Yes.
and she was playing with her dolls. And I said, okay, she's 2 hours past her bedtime. I've got to be creative because the goal is to get her to sleep. And I said, hey, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but your dolls told me that they're tired and they didn't want to tell you they're ready to go to bed.
Yes.
She looked at her dolls and said, is that true? you, did you tell her you were tired? And yes, and she
Mm,
literally engaged in a conversation with these dolls
yeah.
about why didn't you tell me? And this is a 5-year-old.
Yes.
And I said, time out. Okay. We
Oh,
need to get to bed. So how can
yes.
we get to bed? Well, I don't think they're tired. I don't think they said that. I said, can we agree that they
Right.
normally go to bed at 8 and
Right.
it's now 10? Can we agree that if we go to sleep now, that we'll play an extra 15 minutes with them tomorrow? Oh, yeah, I like that.
Mm.
Wonderful. She laid them down, she tucked them in, she said goodnight, and they went to sleep. And that is just an example of how I try to get a 5, almost 6-year-old that I think she believes she's 30
Yes.
to get
Yes.
to the solution. What are we
Yes.
doing here?
Yes.
Recording
Yes.
dolls?
What a right. Like she said, did they, Mom, did they say that to you? Did you? No, she turned to the dolls and said, did y'all say that? She's my kind of girl. Did y'all say that? Because I
I
didn't hear
love
that.
her. And the thing about it is, like, I can't even be mad
Yeah.
because she's very much like me. She
Yeah.
started with the questions. Really?
Yes.
Is that
Really?
that happened? So, so I'm not even mad at her. It was actually quite funny. But so that's how I kind of try to manage, children, but really just anyone. I just throw back questions, but I know when there's a time to draw the line because you're not
Yes.
going to keep me in that space
No.
longer than I feel I need to be in that space.
Yes, Ebony. Yes, yes, yes. I love this conversation, and it's making me realize um what I was without even putting a label on it. Because that is how I am. And now I'm able to put a label that no, I am a solution driven person. I don't like to
Yeah.
dance around the problem. Now don't get me wrong, that's coming with age because there was definitely a time your girl was going to dance around the question. I was going to throw some D's on the question, and I was going to put it in flour and dip it in oil and eat, and I was going to do all the things, okay? But
Yep.
just as I'm getting older, I don't have time for that. And I'm not going to make time for that. So thank you for bringing that to light for me. And that was really just a light bulb moment for me that that is exactly how I am, and how I'm doing life.
Yeah.
I'm doing life solutions driven.
And if I
Which,
could just kind of add one thing to that, kind of another layer,
mhm.
I used to be the same way. I would just
Yes,
spend so much time reading
yes,
emails over and over and over and over in draft mode because I
yeah,
just wanted it to be taken the right way and this and that. Um, and so, for anyone that's listening or later, now or later,
yeah,
if you've been in a situation where, particularly in the work environment,
yeah,
where especially being a Black woman or a woman of color, I want you to understand, don't spend too much time thinking and rethinking what you need to email or what you need to say. I have
yes.
been in meetings where I have been the youngest, the
Hmm.
only person of color, I mean, the youngest person at the table with the highest title,
Yes.
person of color, female,
Mm,
list goes on and on,
yes.
disabled,
Mm,
um, and definitely have experienced, oh, the angry Black girl, da 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 da. No,
mhm.
whatever badge you have of honor, wear it proudly. Be
Yes.
less concerned about how it'll be taken. Now, unless you're cursing and using a lot of
Hello.
exclamations and caps, that's another story. But if
Yes.
there's something you need to communicate, as long as it's professional, communicate it, send it, move on.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
not your responsibility to sit in someone's inability to respect which your message is. It's not your responsibility.
Girl,
And
you
so
are
I had to
preaching.
learn that. I had to learn that.
Yes.
And that's another thing I think is important to me and that I really want to kind of a part of the business is I really
Mhm.
enjoy mentoring. I
Mhm.
really enjoy professional development.
Yes.
Um, And that will be a big part of culture for design, because it takes one person to care about you. And that's what happened for me. It took one person in each industry I've been in that was like, I see something in her.
Mm.
And I'm going to make sure she's made amazing.
Mm.
And I want to be that, for other people. I think that's important. But I never had anyone that said, though,
Mm.
don't worry about it.
Mm.
It's very hard to get a seat at the table. It's extremely hard. It's too hard, and it shouldn't be.
Mm.
But don't spend time rethinking your message. Say what you need to say, because the thing about it is you got the position for a reason.
Yes.
Whether people are happy about it or not.
Mm. Ebony, that's so good. I know that I know that we need to wrap up. This is such a good conversation because um I know that you're talking about workplace, uh but man, this just goes hand in hand with just relationships
Anything.
in
Yeah.
a row. Like when I tell you, it's making me just kind of think back on my relationships with people, and it's just really like, because there's some hard decisions that I've had to make with people, and but as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, man, sometimes you have to make hard decisions because you got to advocate for yourself. You do. And if you don't, then you end up in a really, really bad situation with yourself where people pleasing, self sabotage, you name it, becomes
Right.
the name of the game. And so I'm just really just letting this soak in because uh, it's so good. It is so good. And the way that um, your energy is just so, it's such a feel good energy. Like when you told me that you're happy and that life is really good. That's what I'm getting from you right now. Like I'm just getting such a carefree situation. And, um, that's probably just how you are and how you've always been. But just what I'm getting right now is just it's just making me want to take a breath of fresh air, because it just makes me feel like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is. It is everything that you're saying. I'm like, got it, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So, as we close, can you tell me? Well, I have two things, but can you tell me what is the thing that you enjoy the most about being a Black woman?
Ooh.
I know.
Being admired. Yeah. Being admired. There's
Yes.
something about, just, first of all, being a
Mm.
Black woman. We tend to be resilient.
Mhm.
Um, and while many say, oh, they're this, they're that. No, we're actually admired. We are queens,
Yeah.
and we show it in the way that we work and what we do. Uh,
Mm.
I like it. And I'm not a person of attention. So I want to be clear. It's not the attention,
Yes.
it's the admiration. Um,
Mm.
because really, I'm a very introvert person, which you probably would be surprised by, but I really keep to myself outside of, when I'm doing career stuff. I
Yeah.
have a very small circle, and I like it that way.
Yes.
I
Yes.
like peace and calm,
Yes.
and making sure of that. So, but yeah, I think that's the number one thing, and knowing that we can do anything. I mean, it's Black History Month. I'm gonna take it all the way back to slavery.
Come on.
Our ancestors have fought hard for us,
Mm.
and knowing that that is in our history, I feel as Black women, as Black people, we
Mhm.
have no choice but to be excellent,
Yes.
because they didn't do that for nothing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, and we are, from
Mm.
our skin, from our hair, from
Mm.
our minds to our experiences
Mm.
to everything. It is a vibe. It is a culture. It cannot be bought. It
So,
has to be in
hey.
your DNA.
Ooh, it has to. Ooh, it has to be in your DNA, Ebony. You got it. Being admired.
Yeah.
That's the nail on the head because we are absolutely admired
Mhm.
and it cannot be
Not at all.
bought. Why do I get brought and bought mixed up all the time? And my kids try to explain to me, and I'm like, I don't know. So yes, it does not come with price tag. It is definitely something that is in your DNA. I absolutely agree. Um, Ebony, how can we reach you? Can you tell us a little bit about the services that you're offering? And hold on, before you get going, we're still
Mhm.
on our Black girl vibe. Delija said, it is a vibe. It is a culture. It cannot be bought. Bought, not BR. All right. So it cannot be bought. Delija, I agree with you. It is a vibe. We are a vibe. So, Ebony, tell us how we can, tell us how we can find you.
Sure, sure. So there's so many different ways. The first being our website, which is www.culturefordesign.com. And actually today we're doing a special drawing. So head over to that website, sign up, subscribe for the newsletter, which also gets you in the drawing. And one special person, maybe more, we'll see, will receive a pretty awesome gift today, and the winners will be announced by 6 p.m. So head over to www.culturefordesign.com and subscribe. So that's the website. So most of the information will be there. The website's going to be refreshed later tonight to look a little different, but we're running this special drawing, so we want to keep that open. On Instagram, you can find us at www.instagram.com/culture for design. We're on TikTok. We will be rolling out a YouTube channel later this week, Facebook page, Culture for Design. We're on Twitter, pretty much all the channels.
Yes. Taking
But
up, yeah.
most of the content will most of the content's on Instagram, TikTok, and our website. So
Okay.
yeah, and so in terms of services, so there's kind of the whole slate. So, as I mentioned, we partner with small and mid-sized businesses to create the space that employees actually want to work in. And a lot of that can have to deal with one, obviously, it's very solution driven, but strategy based. So, if you need help in hiring, employee engagement, investigations, anything compliance, anything that really has to do with people, or maybe if there's a process, and this is the area that I really love, to be
Mhm.
able to go in and say, okay, I think this is broken. Can you fix it? I'm very, very good at that.
Mhm.
So process improvement, um, as long as it has to do with people, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the HR department. Um, we would be happy to step in and do some analysis and determine a solution for you. So that's one piece of it. As I mentioned earlier, professional development is going to be a big part of the company. So on our YouTube channel, there'll be a slate of content that's just all types of things from individual professional development to things that employers could be doing to make their space one that's more enjoyable and easier to work in. Um, so I will be soon asking for you. Please subscribe. Actually, you can probably go out now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Culture for Design. Nothing's out there now, but there will be. So subscribe
Yes.
so you
Yeah.
get the alert when things are posted. Um,
Yes.
and the other thing is, and I originally didn't plan for this, but I'm good at it. People have been asking for it.
Yeah.
Resume writing and redesign.
Nice.
I'm good at helping people shine, and so we will be offering resume design and writing services as well as cover letters and those types of things. Coaching for the interview and how to get there and what do you do next, or dealing with different experiences in the workspace. So just really kind of a variety of things. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Again, if it has to do with um, improving the workspace, that's what we do. Our tagline is where people synergy matters. So
Mhm.
that's what we do.
Ebony, thank you. Again, if you are just coming on, Listen, like I said, today is launch day, okay? Ebony has launched. She, as you heard, there are services on top of services on top of services. So if you know that this is something that you need for your small business, if you know that this is something that you need for your large business, Ebony is your girl. Culture for Design. So we are just excited and we are celebrating with you today. So
Thank
happy
you.
launch day, Ebony. I am so excited that you were able to spend your morning with me, just celebrating. And I absolutely cannot wait to see what God does in this time for your obedience and for your yes. So just know that I'm over here. I'm rooting you on, girl. And I'm
Thank
like,
you.
absolutely. If you just need someone to vent to, you know that I'm here. And I just thank you for your support with me.
Absolutely.
Elijah is giving you a congratulations, Queen. You are
Thank
worthy
you.
of congratulations. I know that God is worthy of the praise, honor, and glory for getting you to this point. So thank you again for sharing your morning with me. I know you have things to do today, girlfriend. It is go time. And come back and let's see how things are going. I'm so interested
Absolutely.
to see what God's going to do in this time. So Margarita said, "Congratulations, we are in
Thank
here.
you.
Everybody is congratulating you because you deserve it." Any
Thank you.
last thoughts? Any last words that you'd like to
Thank
say?
you for this opportunity. I forgot to mention that even though we're based out of Houston, we serve nationwide. So
Mhm,
if
mhm.
you're in Colorado or in any other states, reach out. That's
Yeah,
not a boundary for us. So yeah,
nice.
no, just thank you so much. Sign up for on the website,
Yes.
and this is a good conversation. I would love to
It's
do
so
it
good. Yes, it's so good. It will be available via YouTube, um, and it will be on my Facebook and your Facebook. And we're just going to share this so that people can know more about you. If you're in the comment section, please share this so that people can know what's going on with Culture for Design. James Holland Jr. gave us the black fist pump. I love it. Thank you so much. And he
again.
also said, Mom said, congratulations. I love that this is a family affair. Okay. I am with it and I love it. So, if nothing else, you guys, we're going to get out of here. Ebony, thank you
All
again.
right.
Let's get it. And
Thank
we
you.
will see you all later.
Take
Bye bye.
care.